Gentlemen, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bit of internet fluctuation going on tonight, isn't there? That was weird. Did you notice that before the live? Everything started going really weird. But anyway,
really
ladies and gentlemen, we are
on my side.
I know. Aye, it's really slow. We'll blame it on the weather. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest tonight with me, Drew, here. We have Danny Wolf. Welcome, Danny. See, I was going to hire some party poppers and stuff to go off, but I couldn't afford it.
Thank you, and all that,
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking tonight about Stirling Castle. One of the very interesting places. I don't know that much about this place, but luckily Drew and Danny do. You know, is Danny
got a couple of things, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
how are you? Who's in the chat anyway? Let's see who's in the chat.
This is our
second night of the live.
Hey, Pop. Hey, Scottish.
Hey, Sherry. Hey, Scottish Outlooker. Bluegrass, welcome. So obviously this is our second episode of Ghost Squad Scotland live, and we'll have another one next week, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, before I start, Danny, can you tell everybody who you are, where they can find your channel?
Right, you can find me at Chasing Bones Inspectors. Do investigations there. I got lots of different tidbits on there or whatever. And then I got Danny Wolf, which is my exercise channel. And that's where you can find me. I'm not hard to find.
And no, you're no. Do you know what, after this uploads tonight, I'm going to add your links to the bottom of this, along with Drew's. Please, ladies and gentlemen, could you please visit Drew's paranormal vlog, where you'll see her, which she was at the Haunted Mansion, along with me on Sunday, which was interesting. Strange things were creeping about that day, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah. But anyway, before we start, Drew, would you like to say anything before we start, Drew?
I just want to say that Sunday was interesting. The spirits there wouldn't really use our equipment, wouldn't they not? But there was voices when I played my footage back, there was voices through the camera.
See, what was that app you were using when it was saying out the names?
Spirit Talker.
Right. See, it was weird because it said about the soldier that died. It said soldier, then death. I sent you the link there. There was a young soldier that died at the house.
Right.
Which is, I think we need to do a live show just on this location. Because I think people need to know about this location. I think you'll find it very interesting. But anyway, further ado, Danny, no problem. Danny. But anyway, I think further ado, Drew is an expert in Stirling Castle because I was 12 the last time I was there. It was a school trip.
I wouldn't say an expert. I just know the place.
You know the place better than I do. I'll bring up a picture of location. Now, where are we? I must have got so many pictures tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But look at this beautiful location. Isn't that amazing?
I was saying to Christopher before the live, we've actually got a bit of an advantage at Stirling Castle. Stirling Castle has got one of the most haunted cemeteries right at the foot of the hill, and it also has got a jail as well that's very haunted, and a church, and it's on that immediate area, guys. So we have got an advantage at Stirling. What I love about Stirling Castle is there's a viewpoint where the old gun used to be, and you can stand on that viewpoint up in the middle of the cemetery, and it lets you see all around the castle. You can see right up as far as Stirling as well on a clear day, and in Wallace Monument and things. It's really a beautiful place. I would say if you've ever... Sorry?
It is a beautiful castle, Drew. Honestly, it is a beautiful castle. I mean, I can hardly remember it, but when you go...
It's one of the places, if you were to get the choice of either picking Edinburgh Castle or Stirling Castle, I would pick Stirling. For a personal point of view, if you had already knew what you were in for. A lot of people pick Edinburgh, of course, because it's the capital, but Stirling's got a magical vibe about it, and I think because the cemetery is so close as well, you've got a lot of poets and things in that cemetery, a lot of people that signed the treaties and things in Scotland. There's also a pyramid in the middle of that, not in the middle of the cemetery, but at the edges of that cemetery. And you did the research on that, Chris. What was in it again?
It was to do with and I didn't actually do the research on it. I actually just looked it up and sent you the link. But it's to do with like what happened. It's to do with like what happened. I think to do with like crofts burning and stuff like that. Actually, I'll look it up really quickly.
Yeah, it's a treaty.
Well, Drew tells us more about,
It's one of those places that they made, and there's a lot of documents and things in it that is sealed in the building, and it's to do with a lot of the land, the treaties of the land, when it gets shared out between all the different, what do you call them, kins and things, like all the different crofts, clans and things like that. That's where all the treaties are for that.
It's called the Star Pyramid.
Yeah.
And it was dedicated to all those who suffered martyrdom in the cause of the civil and religious liberty in Scotland. And it's quite interesting. What I'll do is I'll actually leave a link below this. It was 1863. It was built by William Drummond in 1863. Which is very, very interesting. So I'll leave the link for that, actually, because I think that's a really interesting read. I mean, I've never been there. And I didn't actually, I've heard about it, but yeah, I've never actually been there. I've only been to the castle and the monument, and that is that. And it's a sad thing that we don't actually know that much more about this place, because everybody thinks about Edinburgh Castle, don't they? Oh, that's the castle, that's the best castle. Whereas this one's actually got so much amazing history.
One thing about Stirling, I remember years and years and years past, was one of the first things there that I ever registered. I had to do a hock me, and it was a mid-afternoon, a hock me, right? And I'm sitting there on the wall like this, right? Just sitting there. And this bagpipes to start playing, right? And I'm looking around, I'm thinking, well, this is a good day for the bagpipes, right? But it wasn't, nobody was supposed to be there for another 4 or 5 hours before the festival started. And so I'm sitting there and I'm hearing all these bagpipes. I'm like, what the hell is that from? So I went all over. I looked all over. I could not find nor see anybody anywhere. But, and the weird part was, I'd walk, say east, and it would get louder and louder and louder, and then stop. And then I'd hear them behind me. So I'd go west, and I'd be walking, and it'd get louder and louder and louder, then gone. And then I'd hear them in the direction, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Right? So, I mean, that to me was, I don't know, for some reason, it stayed with me,
I must admit, I can't wait to go there, because I'm going to go there in the summertime. I'll be taking the gang, and getting some amazing footage there. But there is actually a story about the piper that died in Stirling Castle. So it's weird. This is going back to my school days. It just shows you, everybody that's watching this and knows me, that I did actually
take notice
when they were telling me stuff. But that's about a piper that died, and I can't remember how he died, but it was I think it's right. Wait, then I'll bring this picture up. He died at the gate of Stirling Castle. So that makes you wonder.
Right.
And truth be told, I think it's like at 1 o'clock in the morning or something. You're meant to see him playing his bagpipes. Can you imagine what that's like in a foggy, misty night?
There's lots of really cool stuff. What you think about, it was built like in the 12th century or something, right? And all the history and everything that's gone on And don't forget, on top of that, you've got 3 huge cemeteries around the place.
Well, yeah.
And the other side's a big cliff, right? So
Yeah.
if there's going to be a place that's haunted, I think that would probably result pretty good, you know.
Bring up. I've actually got pictures of the cemetery here. I've actually looked up some gravestones, which is quite interesting.
It's one of those castles as well,
Look at
when you're
those
walking
strange
around it as a tourist, it has got all the furniture and things in it as well. So it's a really beautiful castle because it has got old furniture and things in, which is rare in some of these old castles that don't last. So that adds to the mystery of it. So that's a lovely one.
I mean, I know.
Another,
But wait till you see this one.
Yeah.
That just looks weird, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
It's like a skeleton killing a person. It's got some type of skeleton energy killing the man.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, that's where Mary Queen of Scots was crowned anyway, right? Like, so much has happened and so much history that's gone on that, I mean, there are things that happen there that people think is just remnant, you know, like keeps replaying all the time. But there's a lot of intelligent interaction there too, right?
Yeah.
Which gives it, to me, which gives it a lot more credit because of that, right? Like, for instance, Queen of Scots, people have seen her walking around in there, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. But the thing is, I don't think she hangs out there, you know, because she's been seen in lots of different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that adds to the fact that, okay, a spirit's not stuck always in one place. They can wander wherever they've traveled before, right?
Yes.
So that's my idea of that. But
it makes you wonder about the spirits that have no crossed over yet, that are trapped there and they're afraid to cross, or they don't know that they're dead. That's
the
something
maids
that's
and
always
things of the castle. I think, if I remember correctly, I'm sure it's Stirling that the old maid gets seen as well. It's either Stirling or Edinburgh. So, I mean, the staff and things, they made that their life. They dedicated their life to look after the monarchy and the soldiers and things in these castles. So, a lot of the staff still wander the halls of Stirling and Edinburgh castles.
One thing that happens there that I haven't heard of anywhere else, per se, you know.
Yeah.
But people often talk about a guy who climbs up on the wall on the cliffside and jumps off the wall, you know. And a lot of people have seen it. A lot of people have documented, had little documentations and stuff about this guy.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 guys that jump off the cliffside, okay? Well, the one guy, they figure that he's jumping off the wall to escape persecution or trial or whatever, and he jumps off the wall on the cliffside, right? But there was this other guy, I think it was in the 15th or the 16th century, I can't remember. They call him Birdman because he made a suit with feathers, right? So this Brainiac, he makes himself a suit with feathers to fly, you know?
Yeah.
So he jumps off the castle on the cliffside. Okay, so this is the second guy that you know, 2 people jump off the cliff. One just splat, you know. The other guy, he wants to fly. I think he was planning on going to France or something. I can't remember. But anyway, so this guy gets a bird suit, right? And he makes all these feathers, okay? And he jumps off the castle, off the top, right? On the cliffside.
Yeah.
And he's flapping like crazy, you know.
I bet it would be.
He goes, of course, he doesn't fly. He falls with grace and dignity.
Tumbles.
You know? Sure as hell ain't gonna fly. Anyway, surprisingly, he didn't die. He broke his leg, right? The only thing that happened was he broke his leg after falling like 200 feet or whatever it was. Anyway, so they asked him, I thought you were going, what happened? He says, I should have used eagle feathers, he says. And they said, well, this is what he proclaimed, that if he used eagle feathers, he would have made it to France. But because he used feathers from chickens and hens, they're used to roosting at home, so they didn't want to go anywhere. So that's why his suit failed him, because he used chicken feathers instead of eagle feathers, you know. But, but anyway, there's been sightings of a bird man. There have been sightings of some that looks like a giant bird in the shape of a man, right? There have been sightings reported, 8 or 9 times at least, where they swear a man is trying to fly,
Why?
But that he actually got himself a name. I think it was like Birdman of Stirling or something. They named him. But it's a true story. He really did.
See, that's quite interesting, Danny. You say that because I'm going to bring up something here. I don't know what your theory in this. You've heard of the stone tape theory, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think maybe when he did that and all the crowds at the bottom, because let's face it, I would go and see a guy jump off a big tall cliff with a mad feathers.
The energy of that, with all the people, and imagine his energy. Holy shit, I'm gonna die. What was I thinking? If anything was gonna be recorded in history, that would be it. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna put on a bird suit and try to fly, the first 2 seconds I realize I screwed. Right?
Yeah.
So where did I get this idea?
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. For our cameraman Alan, that's probably watching this right now, when we go to Stirling Castle, Alan, can you please dress up as a birdman? And don't worry, we'll get like a bouncy castle.
Dress as a birdman, we'll get pictures of it. And everything, so the birdman is been seen, but also this other guy that literally they've seen him. The report is he runs across the little path there, the little stone crop, right? Runs across there, puts his hands on the wall, climbs up, and then jumps. Right?
Ooh. That's
that's a pretty weird thing to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when no one's. You can see through the guy, and that's the thing. Like everybody says, well, yeah, you see him plain as day, but you see right through.
Mm-hmm.
He jumps off the edge. But if you watch as he jumps about halfway down, it just vanishes. There's no guy, right?
Do you think that's an intelligent spirit? That's maybe just something in time playing over and over and over again.
I think that one is residual. I think it is.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing else ever happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like no one ever sees it go to the bottom. No one ever sees before it starts crossing, right? So if you saw maybe him walking up and down a few times and doing different things, well then maybe it's intelligent because it's moving about, right? But it's always exactly the same thing. So so I think that guy's just that.
So I just want to say
every castle has got a piper. Usually, well, I would say every castle, but any castle I've kind of researched, there's always a piper of some sort heard.
Oh, yeah, there's a piper there. There's actually a Highlander there. I'll talk about that a little bit. But the other thing what is in that castle are missing children, right? There's claims of there's 3 or 4 children that were working there, like either cleaning chimneys or doing stuff or working, cleaning up the butchery, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a couple of ground children, that work on the grounds. A couple of them went missing, and 2 stable boys also disappeared at that castle. Well, nobody knows what ever happened to them. However, they've been seen and heard throughout the entire castle, right? Like children running and laughing. Having a good time or whatever. There's not been anything that I know of anyway, personally, or heard of where they're being malicious or they're bad or anything like that, but just playful children running about.
Is there no story? Is there no story, something to do with the kids now? When I was there when I was a child, which is a long time ago, is there no a well? Is there no a story for the well in the castle? Something happened at that well. You know what I'm talking about, Danny. See, as you walk into the castle, you'll know what I'm talking through. Right in front of you, there's like a well. And there was something happened there. I'm sure kids were drowned in that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, there was a story, and I don't know about the documentation of it or nothing.
Yeah.
But apparently 3 witches were drowned there. Right?
Really?
Yeah. And they say, they put them in water and they say, if you live, then, you're a witch. Right? If you drown, then you weren't a witch. Well, that's nice, but dead is dead. You know what I mean?
Thank you, but I'm dead anyway.
That's the madness. That is the madness, and Drew will probably be able to explain this better. But in the middle, what did they actually do in the witch killings? They tied you to a chair, didn't they, and dunked you in the water.
Oh, they did loads
And
of stupid
if you
things.
didn't drown, you were evil. If you did drown, you were basically nice.
Yeah, you were okay. We made a mistake.
Oh, there's loads of things they did to you. They did the drowning one. What else did they do? They did loads. I need to look it all up again. They're just stupid things.
Yeah.
Like they pricked you with a pin and things like that. And if you bled, if you didn't bleed, you weren't a witch. If you bled, no, whatever way it was. But they pricked you with pins and things. Crazy things.
Yeah.
It's actually frightening. It's frightening because it makes you wonder the deaths at that castle. I mean, it must be over hundreds of thousands of people that's died there.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years.
Oh.
I mean, but they can't tell how many died.
But one of the biggest battles, the Battle of Bannockburn, is just practically next the field next to it. Well, no, next to it, a couple of fields over, but you've got all that residual energy on the battles up Stirling. That is the prominent place where all the battles kind of were, was up Stirling, Falkirk area. So you've got all that residual energy, all the soldiers that's just lost souls.
And that's the other thing.
Things.
There's that's another thing there, that castle, is all the footfalls, like at the well and in the main corridor, the main garden, the main yard, especially at the old entrance to the castle. There's all these footfalls. By the old entrance, right there. See, horses. You can hear horses' feet going back and forth and stuff like that. If you sit on that wall that kind of curves upwards, going up the upside there.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're standing there, if you stand right in the middle, you can hear footsteps, but you got to stop and wait for a minute, right? So there's no echoes, no nothing. And if you just stand there, you can hear people walking down the ramp towards you and like some coming up. And then every once in a while, you'll hear like a horse and trailer going across the main part here. And there's no one around. I mean, you could be the only person there, and there'll be nobody else, right? And you'll still hear it. So,
yeah. I mean, even the cemetery part of it, there's actually 3 cemeteries there. There's one at the foot of the hill that I was talking about. Then there's the one, I think it's actually there's the big one, and then there's one over the other side, and then there's one, I think it's just like soldiers and people that for the army and things that's in it, and that's right next to the stairs. So there's actually 3 cemeteries.
If you go back 2 pictures for a second.
Was it this one?
No, one before that one. Yeah, right there. Now, if you look under where it says B&B, if you see that row of housing there, and there's that little rectangle.
Yeah.
Okay. At that rectangle there, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have picnic tables and stuff, and you could sit there, right there in that spot, right? And as you're sitting there, you would hear a whole bunch of kids laughing and playing about and stuff, and you would hear like old. Almost like old, really super old nursery rhymes being sung and stuff like that. But right there where that little rectangle square is, we used to go there and you could sit there and have a bite to eat or whatever and relax. And that's where you'd also hear a lot of horse footprints and stuff like that. And there's even, just on the other side, you would hear like marching, like people marching, right? So that was a very active area right there. So if you ever go to there to do investigation, where that rectangle, where the low housing is, that's what we call the low housing. If you sit in that area, you're bound to hear children and horse hooves and soldiers walking.
Yeah. It would be something I would
Go
definitely ask them when next time we're up that way, because you've got to ask in
we
these places.
We are going there.
We're
going there. can you actually see that well? See the well? Can you actually see the well in the map as you come in the main gate? Can you see the well, the round where the well is?
I can't see it.
You come in, you go through it,
I
second
think I see
gate,
it up here.
and
Yes.
it's right hand side.
Right.
It's right next to something that says "Grand." I can't read that because it's quite pixelated for me.
You could use
When
your.
I went there as a kid, obviously, I can. What's that?
Yeah. Anyway, that's a really good place.
I tried pointing at it. But
Yeah, if you go,
yeah.
if
I just
you
like to
ever
tell
get-
everybody in the chat.
if you get a chance to
I was
investigate,
just got to say to everybody in the chat.
you know,
I just got to
There's a
say to
delay.
everybody in the chat while it's here, could you please subscribe to the Ghost Squad Scotland, guys? We've got about 15 people in the chat. We've got 15 people in the chat, but I'm going to let Danny take over again. Go for it, good man. I'm not going to speak.
anyway, that's a really good place to check out. Is right where that little rectangle is. I don't know. I can't tell you if they still have tables and that there. You know, it's
Yeah.
been a long time, but they
The
used
day
to
I
have
went up, it was shut.
3 or 4 picnic tables there. You know, and people
You
would be
came
sitting
from-
there. People would be sitting there, and
remember that.
it'd be hilarious because people would be eating their lunch, and then they'd turn to yell at the kids behind them because they're doing something, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Too
and they
much
would,
noise.
if if their own kids or whatever goofing around, so they turn around and go, "Hey," and there's no one there, right? So I mean, it kind of adds to it. Like when people aren't investigating, right? They don't believe in ghosts. You sit there, you're having yourself a picnic, and then you hear kids yakking and goofing off behind you, so you turn to see what they're doing, and there's nobody there. That makes a lot of people go, "What the hell?" Right?
The horses as well. The horses are prominent in these places. There's always horses.
Always
Hoofs
horses.
and things heard. So you
But
would
the
think it was
And there's the
horses.
Highland Ghost. He walks all the cobblestone, eh? The Highland Ghost there. He walks all the cobblestone, you know. And they have got lots of different pictures and little clips, you know, of the shadow. But it's a very pronounced, and actually you can see the kilt and you can see the blender. Walking up and down there and doing different things throughout there. So I mean, he's pretty famous over there. The Highland, they call
Yeah,
him
that's what I thought.
Yeah, like
The-
especially there, so the tunnel there and all that. He walks all over that area, you know. And
The other side of the castle
not
as
the-
well is
mhm.
the exact same.
Yeah.
That's heard over there as well. I think
Yeah.
it's heard right up throughout the courtyard and right down the other side.
Yep.
See, I've heard the Piper story that I've heard is at main gate, the bit with the 2 turrets. But I have heard
Right.
stories about how you do hear horses, and you can see all the cobblestones there, and that must be quite loud if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
All those cobblestones.
They're very
Oh,
uncomfortable to walk on as well. So I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
If you stay there at night, right? If you get permission to go at nighttime, you know, and you're sitting there, the cobblestone noise is about 50,000 times louder when you're sitting there and there's no one around, and then you start
Yeah.
hearing all this traffic, on the stones. But there's nobody there but you and your team or whatever. I mean, that'll put the fear of something into you. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I say. If you're
Even
ever
in
going
the
to go
road up,
there,
yeah.
one bit of advice, if you're going to go there and investigate in the evening or at nighttime, make sure you wear brown pants. Have your brown pants on, because shit happens. You know what I mean? Wear your brown pants just to make sure you're going to
Oh
find
no,
some stuff.
we need to have our kilts on. We're Scots. We have to have our
You know.
kilts on, our big woolly socks, you know.
That's it. Yeah, what's a good Scotchman wear under his kilt? His shoes. But
He's pride.
and that old cemetery.
Stirling Castle's one of the other places that I felt as if you were going to your doom when the road up
Yeah,
to it. It's much the same as Craignethin Castle. It's got a very looming feeling in the road up.
Yeah, the old cemetery. Okay, people have seen women walking from there to the church. You know, lots of times.
Yeah.
Now, they've been seen in a light rose color shirt and not shirt, dress, and a teal dress, and all colors in between, right? So like very light rose color, light purple, light teal, I think even pink a few times. I don't know about that one for sure, so don't quote me on that. But
I must.
And of course, a couple of lady in white, of course, too. And then a couple of black. But anyway, that's not the point.
There's got to be some of them.
There's always women seen walking along there with their head down, going from the old cemetery to the church. And that's something that a lot of people catch. So.
Do you know the county jail as well at the end of that lane?
Yeah.
So
the county jail, Chris, did you find that picture of that?
I didn't get a chance to do it. I'll try and get it for next week.
Right, because that's just round the corner as well, and that's really hot.
With the castle. Do you think the church actually looks like a castle?
Yeah.
Probably to make it kind of blend. That's about it.
But
I mean, I don't know the history of that church. What is the history of that church?
I don't really know much about it either. Like I don't know anything about it that I can say that I'm going to get arrested for. So I'm not saying nothing about it.
Yeah.
But it's just that
there's a lot out there though, and there's one.
There's lots of travel
one
going.
That sits at the bottom of the cemetery.
One of my favorite ghosts. That's been seen lots and reported there is the Green Lady. That's one of my favorites. But she used to be a servant of Mary the Queen of Scots. She used to be one of her servants,
right.
And she was such a very loyal servant to her. Well, she saved Mary from a fire in her place, in her bedroom, whatever. But the curtains, everything in the room, she caught on fire. Right. The lady servant saved her, but the servant herself died in the fire. She gave her life saving the Queen of Scots. Right?
That's interesting.
And she died in the fire. She got there, and there is documentation, of her, and it says death by fire, whatever. But anyway, she apparently saved Mary Queen of Scots, right, and was a servant to her.
Right.
Well, she's still seen to this day in the castle, walking around like she's doing stuff to help, to be a servant still, and going up and down the corridor and all that, right? So she's there, and I don't think she's residual. I think she's an intelligent, because she will look at you if you're looking at her, right, and you say blessing. Okay, if you say blessings or pardon me or something polite, she'll turn her head and look at you and then just keep going, right? So if she was a residual, she wouldn't acknowledge the fact that you're there.
She wouldn't do
right?
that.
She just could walk through the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like she's still there doing her duties and stuff,
She probably is just there making sure that everybody's looking after all of Mary's stuff and things, because all the rooms set up as if they are like still bedrooms and things. So that makes sense that she'd be there still protecting everything.
Yeah, so she's been there, and lots and lots of people have seen her. So it's not like it's a one-off or something, right? Like apparently that's a beautiful picture right there. Mm-hmm. Apparently lots of people have seen it. So over the period, and the original entrance there.
Honestly, the cast would let us into Ghost Hunt. Unfortunately, they don't let you into Ghost Hunt in the castles. I wish they would let you in.
Did they know?
No, unless you're unless you're somebody like Haunted, which you call it, Horden in England. Unless you're somebody like
I
that.
might be see about that. I'm gonna see what we can do, because I think everybody gets up to 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe now.
Uncle Danny could maybe get us in.
He'll be
He's
locked in
got
the
a good
dungeons
past,
overnight.
a reputation and things. You've got history behind you. You're not just a YouTuber as such like us. You have got loads of different qualifications. But a lot of different. Well, you have different qualifications. But
I got a
maybe
few
like you in, but not just us.
Yeah, I got a few places set up to go to check out when I get there that aren't, open to most people. I got a couple friends, but when I go there, you two will be on my crew. And Pup, she wants to go check out a few places, So yeah, there's a few places I want to go. We can all go, take everybody say that. Come on, let's go.
Special privileges.
I don't know.
Castles and things are
things
just
roaming in the
protective.
night.
That's what's wrong. They're very protective of their spirits, very protective of the history and things. If you've ever noticed, a lot of people go to these locations, and within a couple of YouTubers and things going to the place, a lot of the history will start to change in it. I've noticed that with a lot of the bigger locations as well, that a lot of the times, especially Edinburgh Vaults, if you notice the history throughout maybe the last 5 to 10 years where the YouTubers have been going in, there's a lot of the history is now changing, and I think they try and protect a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because
see
that's a lot.
That's the thing. A lot of different things come up and stuff at investigations and things. So they're kind of a lot of places are getting shy to let people in, do they?
Yeah.
So
also as well, you've got to remember
a
lot of the times there's sorry, Chris.
I was just going to say, please, could you give the what do you call it? Could you give Squad Scotland a subscribe if you're on the other channels, guys? Because we've got about 18 people, 19 people watching us tonight. Off you go, Drew.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. A lot of the I've got off my kilt. I can't remember what I was going to say. Just got to say about the history and things like that. They like to. That's times when you turn on the ghost box and things. If there is a spirit that wants to tell you something, a lot of it might not be good. It might not be. Say hello to my old Dan for me. A lot of the time it's to get out secrets, to get out maybe information that's not out there. So a lot of these places want to protect that. They don't want any of the bad history and things coming out, especially about all the sacrifices and things in a lot of these places. They want to keep it as light-hearted as possible because there is a lot of dark history around the castles. I mean, there's torture chambers and everything in a lot of them.
Yeah.
Dungeons and things. So they try and protect that.
I think a lot of it is for a lot of different places when things happen and you get good evidence and everything, right? But it's how the person getting the evidence interprets it, right? And what spin he's going to put on the evidence. That's what worries the people, like
yeah.
Because like if you're going to go there and try to, you make the evidence to be such as to promote yourself. That's one thing. But if you go there and present the evidence as evidence, right? That's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think one of the main things that they're concerned is they don't want people putting their own spin on what they got. They want people to just show the evidence and let other people decide for themselves what the evidence is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
when
the
I
gist
was
of what
at the Wallace Monument, she asked me. Yeah, when I was at the Wallace Monument, she asked me if me filming was for my own personal use. She wasn't going to let me film upstairs. I didn't get that far because Mr. William Wallace scared me away, but I wouldn't be allowed to put it out on YouTube. I would have got struck for it basically because it is protected history. Mm-hmm. Also, But I've got power in your hand. Well, obviously I'm Scottish, okay, but I've got the potential to to get history out there that people won't like. Mr. William Wallace wasn't all good. A lot of people, if William Wallace came through the spirit box or something and said something really bad about the English, I wouldn't could put that out in my channel, for example, you know. So a lot of this, that is why they protect it, because it can cause a lot of old feelings to come up in a lot of people, you know. So it's just something you need to think about when you're putting out footage like that. Got a lot of enemies.
What worries me is like, see how you get Edinburgh Castle and you get Stirling Castle, is like these people, these ghost hunters that get out there, right? They get out there and their channels are there when they say the best, they like to produce like stuff like, oh, this is a demonic location. Everything's demonic, right, to them, right?
Yeah.
And if they went to Stirling Castle and started stirring up the spirits, I mean, imagine walking into a room, right, and started calling them names. Can you imagine how that the spirits in there will treat everybody else that comes in there after
Especially in the dungeons. I mean, let you in the dungeons and the prison and things.
Yeah.
You could easily stir up all that energy again. And then the next English person that went in there could really get attacked or something. That is the type of thing they try and protect, is that type of old way of thinking, you know?
Yeah. My dad used to always telling me, you know why? You know what it's all about, he'd say. I said, what are you talking about, you know? He'd say, oh, thistles always play havoc with the roses, you know, and that would be the end of that.
You get away with words, Danny.
You know, get away with that one time. That's it, you know. Take that for what you like, but the thistles always play havoc with roses, you know. Take it as you like and say, you know.
They try and keep it very peaceful between England and Scotland these days.
Yeah.
And they should, you know, they really should. But that's what they try and protect, is the history of it all.
But here's a question for you, Danny, right? Do you think there's any darker energies at these locations, like that have came to feed off the battles, the death, the hatred? What would you say was marching about? What would you say was there?
Oh, well, you're gonna have reverence for sure, you know, running around. You're gonna have race running around, because they feed off of that energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the same note, you're gonna have guardians. You're gonna have, you know, different types of dogs, you know.
Yeah.
And the guardians and the protector dogs and everything else, they're called wolf beings. They're protective, right? So they're gonna do everything they can to protect everything that's there. But hellhounds might show up too, and they're not there to protect nothing. They're there to cause crap, right? So
yes.
But energy's energy, right? So when you get lots of negative energy or whatever, then that draws in more negative energy, right?
Yes.
So you're going to have more things like race and stuff like that, where the positive energy is going to bring in white lady, you know, the deer people, the you know, paper people, the white shadows, all that. That's going to pull them in, you know. And that's not to say a dark shadow is bad, because it's not. It's got nothing to do with it. No. But it's going to pull in the more gentle side, right? But that's not going to stop. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, if there's a bunch of dark energy, that won't stop anything good from going there, because it's still energy, right? Same with good energy. I won't stop something dark from coming unless it's put up as a shield, right? Yeah. It's still energy. To them, energy doesn't matter if it's good or it's just energy to them, right? They don't separate whether it's good or bad. Right? They don't give a shit, right? As long as they can get energy from it, they're there. It's like having a sandwich. I mean, you can have a sandwich and it could be really good, right? It's gonna have again. Am I right? Okay, but then you can have a pizza, and if it's good, it's great. If it tastes like shit, well, it's still pizza. Right, so same with energy.
I can't wait to go back there, especially with you, Danny, because I think your spirit radar will set off as soon as you jump out the car.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One days we'll need to go live. And we'll let Uncle Danny and things have a look around these places when we're live. We'll try and find a location that we can get a signal and things at, and we'll go live and let you try and experience some of these castles and things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely go live. We'll definitely get lots of cool investigations when I get there. But yeah, we record everything. I don't care. That's it. We'll have a
I
good time.
definitely think there would be twisted souls there, because a lot of time, remember, there was torture chambers. A lot of the people had to torture these other soldiers, prisoners, and things like that. So there's definitely going to be twisted souls, especially up in that the prison area. Mm-hmm.
Well, when you think of some of the, I don't know what they're called.
What is it?
They're little chutes, where they drop people down onto spikes and stuff like that. A little dungeon.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Back out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the words are for it.
Was that an impaling thing? Impaling.
Yeah, it's kind of an impaling thing, right? Yeah. If you're gonna become a twisted human, you're not necessarily the guy that got impaled, but the guy who did the impaling, he's twisted.
Yeah,
he's got a twisted soul, right? So
for sure.
Yeah, there's gonna be twisted spirits, twisted humans, tortured humans, tortured spirits in all these locations, and there's going to be a lot of and this is the thing, what people don't realize, like Vlad's, that's a good example. A lot of twisted souls in there. But if you look at these places, people don't realize that 70% of the spirits that are there are happy spirits. They've got fun, just like you in your house today, and you've had your kids. You've had your family there. You've had love there. You've had all these things, the good things that's happened in your life. Just because it's a castle doesn't mean it's going to be bad shit there. There's going to be tons and tons and thousands of good spirits who loved their life there, who loved everything that happened there, who were home. That was their home. I mean, so
they don't want to give it up.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't realize all these so-called really haunted, evil, bad places. No, there's a few butt heads that make it a bad place, right? But if you don't pay attention to the butt heads and you pay attention to all of the good spirits there, it's a wonderful place to investigate, and you don't ever have any troubles, right? But the moment you go to a place and you start looking for negativity, guess what? It's going to come out. It's going to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm here, jackass."
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're looking for it, you're going to find it. You know what I mean? You'll find it. And find it in spades, right? But if you go there, don't have any one way or the other that it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. You want to have your own experiences. You go in there open to experience what's there. Hey, Mystical, big hugs. When you go to experience what's there, you're gonna find out a lot of good stuff happen, and a lot of good spirits and a lot of happy things. You'll hear music. You'll hear the old people who were working in the kitchens and cooking and stuff like that. You'll hear pots and pans.
We smell honeysuckle.
Yeah,
that's a very old smell. We smell honeysuckle. That is quite prominent.
And you can actually hear women humming as they're cooking and stuff like that. If you go in there with an open mind and not thinking, "Oh, it's going to be crap or a bad place," if you go there thinking, "Okay, this was someone's home. Let's go see what we got," you're going to get a total different thing to someone else. I've gone to places, lots of places. I've gone to lots of places where everybody says it's a horrible place, it's a bad place, it's a haunted place. I went in there and had the most wonderful time and the most really cool evidence and happy evidence and stuff. I've never had a bad experience once in these places, right? I've gone to other places. I've gone to other people where they say it's such a good place. I go in there and I think, "Oh my God, what are you on crack? This is a terrible place." I wouldn't want to come back here. So I think it depends a lot on your mindset when you go into a place.
Remember, the spirits know your feelings and they know your intent. But practically, when you leave your home, there's just something that they know. So you can't hide who you are to any spirit, any deity, any ancestor. You hide it. You can't bluff these things. They know your heart.
Yeah, and that's one other thing about it. you know, when you go to Stirling and that, I can't really think of anything that was negative, like really negative or really scary to me. You know, nothing. You know, a little bit of mundane sometimes. You know, or there might be like you go through an area and you get the willies and stuff, and you're like, oh, you know, whatever. But nothing like real negative has ever happened to me, anyway. In my opinion, I think a lot of it is you get what you came for, depending on how you treat the place, right? And seriously, I'm one for saying
if you treat them with respect.
You
know, you respect the area, you're going to get different.
Next to the rock, a bit where you walk up out the cemetery and there's the rocks. That bit there where the rocks are beside the cemetery, I would say that was the only place that I found it a wee bit eerie, if you like. It's like you come up out the cemetery, up to walk up the so you can't really see it for that angle, Chris. You walk up out the cemetery, up the stairs, and all the rocks are on your left hand side, and you've got like up in the prison. So that's the only bit I would say is eerie when you're walking up out the cemetery. But apart from that, I never felt anything really strange.
Well, you know what? There's a good reason for that too, though, right? There was a lot of deaths that were of war, that were of battle, right? So when you come up that side, the outskirt, you're closer to the battlegrounds, right?
Yeah.
So that's gonna see. But if you're on the other side, it's nothing. You're walking through there, and it's like, oh, this is a peaceful place. Wouldn't mind being buried here, sort of a deal, right? But you go across on the other side, it's like, hell no. Check, please. I'm out. You know, so.
It's like that feeling of doom you get. People that know me will know I've mentioned this before. Walking up to old castles, there's a feeling of doom sometimes, and I think that's what it is. It's all the people that's gone up to be punished or whatever, you know. And that is, you don't really get that at Stirling. I've felt it at Edinburgh, but not really at Stirling. And Craignethan Castle, it's really bad up there.
Yeah, and that's, you know, the other part of that is, okay, to be fair, Edinburgh gets a bad rap too, right? Because so many people experience something negative, right? But they tell 20 people, and they tell 20 people, and they tell it becomes a belief, right? Mm-hmm. So the area itself has this reputation of negativity, right? Yeah. So if an area gets that, right, any spirit that wants to be mischievous or, you know, stir up shit just for whatever reason, they know that that's already in the person's mind. Guess what they're going to do? Right? They're going to go there and goof off. They're not necessarily being bad, you know, but they're like, hey, we can play with these people, right? So
they're bored. They've been dead for centuries. Half of them, they want to play around when they can.
So why not?
If I was a ghost and I seen, right, I was a ghost and there's Danny walking through the graveyard and I can read your mind and you're like, oh no, I hope I don't see like a shadow jumping out behind the gravestones. I'm going to
be. Well, you know, it's like I say, when I pass, Drew, you're okay. Pop, you're good. Mittens, you're good. Let's see who else. Irene, you're okay. You're okay.
I think he's leaving me out for special reason.
When I pat Chris, you're screwed. Okay, you're screwed. When
I hope I don't die first.
It says in Braveheart, the good Lord says he's going to save my arse, but he's sure you're fucked. So then you got Braveheart for you. That's what it says. William Wallace says that over the Bruce.
That's pretty much what I'm saying. You know, everybody, you're good. You're good. You're good. When I pass, I'll be doing. I'll pat you on the head. You know, take your glasses off.
My mum said she's going to put my lights on and off.
No,
I'll be getting the big Bible out and the holy water and the crucifix, and standing, but the power of God compels you.
Yeah, then you'll hear this voice come over and say, "You'd have more luck offering me a cup of coffee." So
What do you like? What's your favourite blend?
that's it.
So, next, I would like to thank everybody that's come into the chat tonight. We've got about 6 minutes or so left of the show, but look at this: about 19, about 23 people in the chat at once tonight, which
Wow.
is very, very
castles.
good. Now, guys, yeah, castles and strange things that go bump in the night. Please, Drew's. Please, could everybody visit Drew's paranormal vlog? Danny, could you say something in the chat so as I can moderate you?
Yeah, I'm
Going
I
into your
don't know.
emoji so you can put your link.
Give me a
I'll
second.
put Uncle's up.
You're gonna hear some.
Sheriff, can you drop the link for their channels, please, Sherry? If you're in for Danny's channel, Drew, I'll find you the new Drew. Just help you out a wee bit there.
I'm working on it. I'm
trying to find Uncle Dan. I'll put him out.
Here we go. I'm getting there. Working on it. Hit that button. So. Okay, here we go. HELLO funk.
I'm just going to post Drew's link in the chat, guys. There you go. I'll just make you Danny.
Okay.
There you go. Could you post your link for me? And I'll post Drew's link. Paste. There you go, guys. There's Drew's paranormal.
Danny's chasing.
I've already modded you. I'm sure I've modded you, Drew, so you should be okay. You're an approved user, so you should be that should be perfect there. Just helps everybody out a wee bit. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, who would you like to talk about? What strange location would you like to talk about next week?
Well, I think we could talk about Edinburgh next time.
Where? Edinburgh, right? We can do Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Edinburgh itself, we could talk about the castle, we could talk about Edinburgh, the Royal Mile, and all the killings.
St Mary's Close as well, because a lot of people don't talk about St Mary's Close, and that's really got a good story and things behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about St Mary's Close in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
You can schedule us to talk about anything you want to talk about, and I'll just talk about whatever the hell I want to.
I know. The power of Christ compels you.
That's it.
I'm getting into practice, for when you come to visit me.
There you go. Yeah, get
up with the gallop.
It's funny you say that.
That's why chasing bones.
And we were talking about Stirling Castle, because when our wee Zach was walking down the stairs at Stirling Castle going to the cemetery, that's what he said. What did you just say? May the power of Christ compel you. That's what our Zach says, walking down Stirling Castle stairs. Honestly, it's on my video. And I was like, what do you see that we don't, Zach?
Oh my God.
Honestly, it does.
Yeah, I mean, there's some amazing locations in Scotland. I mean, there's just so many locations in Scotland. That's the thing. There's Edinburgh. I will say the vaults in Edinburgh. It's a place I want to go. Again. Greyfriars Graveyard. Yeah, Greyfriars Graveyard that we did last week. It was a couple of weeks ago, Drew. With you, that place has got some weird energies. That place has got some weird energies. And I think that's a place for Danny.
I think you'll be surprised, Chris. Mm-hmm. I really think you're going to be surprised at the energy in Greyfriars. I really do. I don't think you realise just how much that energy is a lot different to anywhere we've been.
Yeah.
You need to ground yourself, because you are getting sensitive, a lot sensitive to when we first started. Be prepared about Greyfriars, as I'll say.
Well, as I will say, when you go, Danny, before we go.
You've really come a long way, Chris. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. So everybody in the chat, I'll talk to you guys behind the scenes. I would like to wish you all a brilliant week, guys. I'll try and get a video out soon. Hopefully I'll get it filmed either tomorrow or the next day, depending on the weather. It is Scotland. It's starting to get really cold now because it's cold outside now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you at the weekend through Bald and Bonkers. We'll be doing some shows, and we'll see you next week. Remember and visit those channels, Drew's Paranormal Vlog and Danny White Wolf. Please, please, please go to their channels and subscribe to them. Let's get Danny's new channel up to 5,000 subscribers.
I'm at 400. I'm happy with that. If it gets to 1,000, I'll be fantastic.
But, no problem. Yeah. I'll post the links in the community page of the Facebook after this. So I would like to say everybody, bye-bye. And do you want to say goodbye, please?
Yeah. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Watch out for ghosts. And have a great day.
They're coming. See you.
Bye, guys.